Happy Friday, everybody. Oh my gosh. What a busy day. I missed you guys last week. What a busy month. What a busy 2 months. This is the busiest time of year. I literally just ran in from the other room with a blanket because I'm wearing shorts and it's cold outside here in Dallas. So I was like, really need some socks and some coffee. This would be the perfect day for some actual coffee, but I don't have any, so it's all good. How are you doing? How has life been? I missed you guys last week, and I apologize that I did not make announcements everywhere about not being around on Friday. I think I just was so busy, like the conference. I went to the Romance Author Mastermind conference, and it was nonstop. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning to 8, like sometimes even 8 o'clock in the morning until, yes, I would love some coffee, George, till like midnight talking to people. And so it was like I just didn't even have a minute for my brain to work correctly. So it's been a little bit tough. I had hoped. Thank you for saying my hair looks cute. I do not have thick hair. I have really fine hair. And so I cannot braid my hair and have like thick, luscious braids. And so I almost never wear my hair in braids. But this morning, I just, I could not function. And so I was like, I'm going to do this for my hair because I had a couple meetings today. And then I was like, okay, by the time coffee chat comes around, I am definitely going to have like curled my hair and won't be in braids. But I literally just sent out my newsletter and got my daily video up for heart breathing. So you guys get braids. So thank you for saying that you like it. I dream of, like I'm so envious of people that have like really thick, nice hair that looks so good in braids. Like I would love to be able to wear French braids, but yeah, I feel like you got to kind of have thicker hair for it. So I don't know. Thank you very much. Thank you. So I have some good news when it comes to the giveaways for Spooktacular, because as we all know, last year's giveaways took me forever to go. And I still have a couple, like poor Jude. I don't know if you're here, Jude. I feel like I need to send you like $500 gift card or something because I just have never gotten Jude's stuff from last year done. And we have a couple of things. So Kelly says, spoiler alert, 9 times out of 10, those braids are hair extensions. Yeah, you're really right. George was like, well, these braids are good enough for us to have gotten engaged because this is exactly how I had my hair when we got engaged. Jude is here. Jude, thank you for your patience. I am sending you actually an extra package of stuff in addition to the Peachful Hide sweatshirt that you won. So it's coming. I promise. Thank you. I will shower you with gifts. But I made it a priority this week once I got home to ship out a lot of the giveaways. So if you won like a book from me, other than the grand prize giveaway, if you want a book from me, the Witchy Starter Kit, the Piper and Ivy, the posters, all of that has been shipped. And it makes me feel very proud of myself that I got it out for you guys really fast, I feel like. So some of you should be receiving those. I sent them all in yesterday, and so you should be receiving them by the end of the weekend or early next week. So that is very exciting. If you did the scavenger hunt, so we have, I don't know, 50 people or 60 people that did the scavenger hunt this year. So if you did the scavenger hunt, I think there was some confusion that some people thought that you had to do the scavenger hunt to get entered to win the grand prize giveaway, which is the books. But those things were, yes, Jennifer, they were in that video yesterday. I did send yours, so you should see them in just a few days, hopefully. But the scavenger hunt and the grand prize giveaway for the Spooktacular were two separate things. The grand prize giveaway was on the blog, and you had to sign up for the raffle copter and stuff. And there were like 800 people entered that. And we have a winner, and I have not shipped those out, but I will. Those are coming. I need my delivery from Amazon to send those out. Scavenger hunt gets an exclusive digital item from me. So I'm still preparing that for you. So it's so funny because it's like this lighting looks almost like it's like gray walls behind me. I could turn this up, but I think it's fine. Um, but yeah, the digital item I am still preparing because I would love for it to be partially a story and partially something else that's digital for you guys. So the scavenger hunt is still coming. That'll come sometime next week. But almost everything else is done. If you won an entry to the Zoom party, our Zoom party is tomorrow. So the Zoom party happens tomorrow at 4. Renee, I think, has already sent out links to everyone. Renee is probably not here because she's had a few days off. So if you are part of the Zoom party and you've received a link, let me know in the comments if you already got your link, because no, I am not in my witchy room, Rana. That was like, man, I'm in my like crafty room, I guess, because I did not have time. I had so many meetings this morning. I did not have time to move to the other room. So we're in this room and it'll be okay. It's very different from the vibe of the last few things. So, okay. So yes, I got my link. So for those of you that are going to be there tomorrow, we're going to do some special readings. We're going to do some behind the scenes stuff. We're going to have time for Q&A. There's lots of things. So, it'll be a fun time. So plan to be there for about an hour if you're coming to the Zoom party tomorrow. George is wooing me. He brought me coffee. Follow your heart. Oh my gosh, this looks good. It smells good. So nice. Yes, Cheyenne, your posters were in the video yesterday. So if you're wondering like what video yesterday, what are you guys talking about? Over on my Heart Breathings channel, I've been doing daily vlogs, which is why it was kind of like I'm around you guys every day. And then as soon as November hit, I'm like off to all these other things with Heart Breathings. But let me tell you something, because this year has been transformative for me. I cannot fully even express to you how much, I mean, you guys have seen it, that this time last year, I was stressed. You could feel that my energy wasn't 100% where I wanted it to be. I was going through hard times, but I was also enjoying my family and we were having a good time. But those two things can coexist, that you can be happy in some areas of your life, but also really stressed. But it's like this year, having this house, come into our lives kind of unexpectedly. We weren't sure we were going to settle here in Dallas, but having that experience of finding this house and it being exactly what we wanted and needed, watching our kids grow up. It's like Andrew gets more and more mature over time. He becomes more and more like funny and sarcastic, and he just is like such a light in our lives. And then Evie, who is now speaking, just her personality continues to show more and more as well. So seeing the kids really start to blossom in this environment where we're in, our own home that we're going to be in for a while instead of a temporary housing situation. But then like getting to meet some people and spend time with people that I have admired for so long, like Holly Black, and getting to have her as somebody that I consider a friend of mine. Whereas like 10 years ago, she was someone that I considered so far out of my league that I never imagined she would ever know my name. And then to have, I feel like, continue to have fostered our relationship here in the Coven community. I feel like, 2 years ago when we were doing these live streams, there were like 80 people here every week. And even though I adored those 80 people, and 80 people is worthwhile, community, it's fun to see it grow and to continue to get to know all of you, because the more I see you in the comments, the more I remember who you are, the more I know what your story is, and who's having babies and who's moving and who's, and continuing that in the Discord server as well. It's like, it's just amazing. And then there are other opportunities that are coming on the back end of things, like meetings that are happening, things that are moving forward towards my dream life that are not solidified yet, but eventually, hopefully, I'm going to be able to share those things with you. I had a meeting this morning with Mel Jolly, which some of you might know, but maybe not. She wrote this amazing book called Becoming Future You, but she also has experience running conferences. So we were talking today about an in-person writing retreat with our Heart Breathings writing community, which any of you, even if you're not part of those live sprints or whatever, if you want to learn to write a book and you want to come hang out, you're all welcome to come do that. But this last weekend at Romance Author Mastermind was one of the coolest. Like, I guess it was not just a weekend, it was like a Wednesday through whatever. I don't even remember. My days are running together. Was so cool because I had an opportunity to see some of the impact that I have made in the world. And it's a very humbling experience, but it's also a very life affirming experience to walk into a conference. And, I've gone to so many conferences before, and, there's hundreds of people there. Nobody knows who you are. And you're just trying to, like, you don't feel like you fit in. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm never going to be at the level some of these people are. And then you learn all this stuff and you feel super overwhelmed. And I went into this conference, expecting that same sort of experience. And instead it was like, I couldn't go anywhere without somebody who was saying hello or knew me from online and had taken my class or, something like that. And it was just the coolest thing. And to be able to experience that after all the hard work that I've put in over the years was really, really cool. And I was one of the very last speakers of the whole conference. There was only one other person after me. So I was like nervous the whole time, but it was so cool. If you want to see some behind the scenes of that, it's over on my Heart Breathings YouTube channel. But they gave me, like, all the speakers, I guess, had a suite at the Four Seasons, which, just to walk in there and be like, wow, this is a room that someone paid for me to be here is just, it's cool to be able to celebrate your own accomplishments in some ways. And I feel like we don't do that enough. So this is your encouragement for wherever you are on the path. Like, two big messages before we get into the Q&A that we're behind on. I feel like it's been like a month since or longer since I've been able to speak. Is one, celebrate the accomplishments along the way. Because, if I stood up there, I could feel really proud of what I did. And yeah, there were a lot of people crying. I made myself cry in my own speech. And I got a standing ovation, which was really, really cool because I was not expecting that. And it was wonderful. Because the whole time, my only prayer and intention for that speech was, please let me say the things that people really need to hear to feel encouraged. And that was really cool. But like, there was a lot that went into my life before I got on that stage or before I was recognized at a conference, right? So like, that conference is a moment in time, but there were so many pieces of that journey on the way there. And if we beat ourselves up the whole time, like, I could have stood on that stage and been like, well, I'm here, but there are like 4 other authors speaking, if not more, who have earned 7 figures a year. They're millionaires. I may never compare to that. I don't make $1 million a year. So I could sit there and say, well, I don't deserve to be here, or this isn't enough. Right. But instead, I'm choosing to say, wow, what an accomplishment. And maybe 5 years from now, I will be standing on that stage as a 7-figure author. And maybe I won't, but I'm still on my journey and I'm still worthy, even if I'm not at the same level or accomplishing exactly the same things everyone else is. So one message of encouragement is that it's so helpful. Like, we don't pat ourselves on the back enough for the things that we accomplish. So wherever you are in your journey, whether you're a writer or you are, in your day job or as a mom or, whatever it is that your dreams are, every tiny step forward is worth celebrating. And so be sure to celebrate yourself because you deserve it. And then the second part of that is also to make sure that you don't, like, how do I say this exactly? To understand that it is a journey and that anybody you see on a stage or you see teaching a course or you see like on social media with X number of followers or whatever, all of those people started in a similar place to where you are. And so I think it can often be a situation where we look at other people and what they've accomplished and we think, well, I can't do that. or that person has XYZ that I'll never have, or they must have some kind of secret thing figured out, whatever. But the truth is, everybody starts with self-doubt. Everybody starts with moments of trying to figure it out. Nobody is born knowing how to write a book or knowing how to, project manage or whatever your personal job or dreams are. But everybody has years that they put into it. And it may be a while before you see that big vision board level dream that you were hoping for, but understand that every step is leading you toward that. You may not go from where you are now to that vision board moment, but this weekend for me was a vision board moment. It was it was just so cool. It was so neat. And I felt like, gosh, I really said what I really wanted to say. And that meant so much. And ever since that, now I'm getting invitations to have like lunch with people whose names I have known for more than a decade because they're that big in this industry. And it's like those doors are opening for me. But that didn't happen overnight. That's a decade in the making, right? And some people here watching this, their journey will happen a lot faster. And some people, it may take you a little bit longer, or it may take you a full 10 years. But as long as you're enjoying the process and you're showing up as your best self and you're following what feels right and aligned for you, you will have that moment for yourself too, over and over and over again. And I just want to encourage you in that, because dreams do come true. We'll just say it does happen. Like real hard work and believing in yourself makes a difference, right? So keep believing in yourself. Okay. We have 1,000 questions in the Discord server that I want to speak to. Some of you, I literally just put up a video a few minutes ago, and I saw some people said that they already answered my survey. So thank you for that. If you're in the Heart Breathings crew, I'm gonna drink water first. I got too passionate. But yesterday woke up and Andrew was sick again. And many of you know that during the middle of the spooktacular, I couldn't finish my Twitch stream, which was very disappointing to me because I got a stomach flu. Andrew had the stomach flu. So sorry, you guys. But then the minute I got to the Romance Author Mastermind, George messaged me that Evie had the stomach flu. So we have had sickness going around in our family. Let's see if coffee can get that frog out of my throat. Maybe coffee of love. George's love coffee. So yes, so many, it has been everywhere. So many people. And I'll tell you, to the point where Andrew woke up yesterday morning. He's been like in and out of school from sicknesses. And then he has 17 kids in his class, and 14 of them were out sick last week at some point in the week. It has just been going around. And he was fine. And then he woke up again yesterday morning with a fever. And I was like, okay, we're going to the doctor. So getting into the doctor took over 4 hours, and then a full hour waiting for them to test him for COVID and mono and flu and just everything. And so it was a very, very long day. And then after that, we went to Walmart to pick up prescriptions, and they were like, it'll be 30 minutes. And then they were like, oh no, it's going to be a couple hours. Then I took Andrew home, finished packing up all the packages and stuff and taking them into the post office, and then went back to Walmart, and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, but we're sold out of all the antibiotics and cough syrup so it was like calling every pharmacy in town to try to get the medicine that Andrew needed. That's how they were like, it's literally every kid in town is sick. So I was like, oh my gosh. But I did get this super cute shirt at Walmart. It says Merry and Bright. And somebody in my meeting this morning was like, are you wearing a Christmas shirt in early November, I'm like, yes, I am. Fight me. Come fight me. 'Cause I needed it. Okay. We also put up a few little Christmas things here, and I think I'm just gonna Christmas decorate early. And if you don't like it, you don't have to come to my house, but um let me know if you're also decorating early. I know that some people do not like it, and if you don't, that is totally fine. Yes, Luna, that is exactly what they were trying to give him was amoxicillin, totally sold out, and then like pseudoephedrine, brompheniramine, something like that. Um, some people already have their tree up. I love it. Okay, I'm decorating too. I don't feel bad about it. I saw like Amy Landino, I think, posted something about Vlogmas, and somebody in the comments was like, "Do not talk about Christmas before Thanksgiving." And I was like, "Uh-oh." I know that some people do not like it. But this shirt was super cute, and it was like less than $10 at Walmart, and I was walking around trying to wait for my order anyway, so why not, right? I bought it. Had to have it. Could not resist. But anyway, I'm wearing it with pride. Uh, so also, just before we get to the questions, wait, did you just say you never took your tree down? We never took it down. You've just been decorating it with different seasons. Jennifer, I love that. I love it. I love it. November 15th. Are you going to decorate your office too? I am going to decorate my office. My first step is to go through all of the boxes that I have to see what we kept, because we only kept one storage container worth of stuff, and most of it, to be honest, was my office furniture and my planners and a little bit of our kitchen stuff. Um, but I did not. I kept some Christmas stuff as well. Like I know we kept our tree and some other stuff, but I feel like this house is calling for multiple Christmas trees. So there's just going to be multiple. So in this office right here on this side of me, I have 3 windows and they face the road. So I want to put one of the Christmas trees here, but I also want to put one in my living room. And then I think we want to put one in the games room, but I might do like kind of a spooky Christmas tree, like maybe not even spooky, but just more witchy Christmas tree in the witchy room, my writing room. So we'll see. I'm just going to go all out if I can. Katrina, luckily, lives pretty close to me, and we got to meet at this conference. So I'm very excited too. So there's lots of amazing things. So yeah, maybe a Yule tree, or we'll see, kind of decide on some of those things. I'm assuming it's like that decorator's warehouse. If you want to go together, let's get it, do it. Let's do it. So that's fun. Also, just to let you know, if you ordered books from me, signed books, those have all been ordered, and it was super fun. I think I ordered them on Monday. It was super fun. I placed an order for over $3,200 worth of books, and those are my author price. So I love it. It just made me feel very excited and happy that you guys ordered so many books. And I ordered tons of boxes and purple mailers. So everybody who got 1 or 2 will get their books in a mailer, like a purple bubble mailer. And everyone who ordered enough to go into a box will get it'll be a brown box, but I'm ordering special packing tape that has my purple, like purple signature sort of branded color with some extra stuff on it. And then everybody will get a few things inside your box. Like there's just going to be some surprises in there that will have some things with my logo and I'm going to keep some of it as a surprise. So it's going to be really fun. So if you ordered something, those are not ready yet because I have to wait for them to get here from Amazon. And Amazon said the books will be here November 20th. So I will keep you updated. If they get here by the 20th, I'll hope to have them all sent out by the 1st of the month. So very exciting. I think there are 4 people so far who have not paid their invoice. So if that is you, that you ordered and you haven't seen an invoice or you haven't paid for it yet, for whatever reason, feel free to reach out to Renee and just say, I need a couple more weeks to pay for it. And that's fine too. But otherwise, if we don't hear from you, we'll just cancel the invoice. So just let you know. Yes, oh my gosh, if Prime could be available for author orders, that would be amazing because the books themselves were like $2,900 and then shipping was over $300 to ship the books. So, and that's just shipping them to me and then I still have to ship them out to everyone, but it's going to be super fun. There's going to be like almost 600 books in my house, which I don't even know how to explain. That's whoever delivers those is going to be like, what? I did post a picture of the packing tape in the Discord server, but that is going to be super fun. The packing tape. It's just one little piece of it. All right, let's go to some questions. Also, I did want to just kind of as a couple updates. One, 6 months for life. I had this realization this past weekend when I was thinking about habits that maybe what I'm going to do is so what I've kind of done so far is 6 months for life has been 6 months to work on 4 areas of your life. And I kind of have been working on that as a theme of like 4 areas. And I kind of wonder now if I might change it to the 4 in the 6 months for life is about developing, like taking 6 months to develop 4 habits, 4 new habits in your life. Because I think that when we think about working on 4 areas of our life, what's happening to me, and you can let me know if any of you have been doing 6 months for life stuff for yourself, is 6 months is a lot of time. And so it feels like I want to work on everything. I want to work on 1,000 things at once. And then when you're trying to stack too many things and change too many things of your life, it gets to be overwhelming and you just can't sustain the changes that you wanted to make. So I was thinking, trying in the new year, focusing my 6 months for life on, I'm going to take these 6 months and I'm going to choose 4 habits that I want to establish in my life. So if it's going to be, healthy eating, that could be one, or one of them could be, I'm going to exercise, 3 times a week. And that's going to be a habit. Not that I start right at the beginning of the 6 months, but that by the end of the 6 months, this is a habit I will have. And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh. Put in an order, but I knew it would be way too much for posted from there to New Zealand, but I do hope to be able to get them all in time. Yeah, it is. I knew it was, that's why I made sure to tell everybody that was ordering internationally that I would send you an estimate, because literally was trying to figure out, is there any way I can ship this stuff cheaper? But going to like New Zealand, Australia, even Canada is very expensive. Like just shipping 1 or 2 books to Canada is $21 minimum. It's ridiculous. And there's literally nothing I can do about it. So hopefully we can get shipping down or find some other way to get you guys books over time. Maybe someday a massive book signing over in Australia or New Zealand area, and I can just bring a bunch with me and sign them for you there. Maybe we could make something like that work. The UK was expensive, but honestly, the UK I feel like the UK orders for this amount that you're going, like the distance that you're going, is really not as bad. Like from here to just over the border in Canada, it feels like it shouldn't be quite that expensive, but what do I know? But it's okay. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Okay, Steph Flowers 19. As an author, how important are honest reviews of your work? And to that end, how do you weed out the ones that are clearly just trashing you for kicks? I don't really read my reviews anymore. To be honest, when a book first comes out, a lot of times I will read the initial reviews just to make sure that there's not like some kind of problem with the file or some kind of issue that was like an accident. But when Vengeful Darkness came out last July, the first 2 reviews that went up on Amazon were 1-star reviews saying, I loved the book, but it took this author way too long and she sucks, basically. And it was heartbreaking because it was like, well, that's a review for me, not a review for this book. And it really hurts an author a lot in the algorithms when you leave 1-star reviews like that. So, but it's one of those weird things too, because it's like, I emotionally posted something about it in my Facebook group. Like, come on, this is not the best kind of review. Like, if you want to be mad at me, be mad at me, but like, please don't leave a 1-star review and that be the only review. Because, there are some readers that will finally be like, oh, I'm going to go buy this book. And they see that all it has is 1-star reviews. And they're like, maybe I don't want to read it because maybe a character dies that I don't want to die, or, something like that. But no, it was just 2 people that were like, the book was great. Or, I wonder if they even read it, but they just were like, it took her too long to write the book, or this author takes too long to write stuff. And when I complained about it in my coven, some people were mad at me about that. Like, people have a right to their opinions. And it's like, yes, they do. You absolutely have a right to your opinion. However, book reviews are for reviews of the books, not of the authors. So try to, if I could just beg you to please leave reviews for the book itself and not for what you think of the author, that would be awesome. But it's just heartbreaking to work so hard on something for years and then have the first few reviews go up be 1 stars. But, I think that honest, true reviews from people, even if they're 3-star reviews, 4-star reviews, even if they're not like perfect glowing 5-star reviews, honest reviews are super, super helpful, because there are a lot of readers that will read through some of, especially at the beginning of a series, they'll read through reviews to see if they like, this style of writing, or to see if it has things that they don't like. And even honest reviews that are bad can be helpful, because I see sometimes clever marketing with like erotic or romance authors who write really steamy, posting stuff like their 1-star reviews as marketing, because it'll say stuff like, there's too much sex in this book. And then people are like, yes, I want to read that. Right. So true honest reviews for the content of the book are really, really helpful. So you want to try to get as many of those as possible. And one of the best way to do that is to take your most loyal fans, the people on your newsletter, the people on your social media, the people on any live streams you do, and really encourage them. And then also in the very back of your book to have a link that says, if you loved this book, please leave a review. And those kinds of things can be super helpful in getting honest reviews. However, and I will say it's important for your book, not only for the readers, but it's also important for the algorithms, because Amazon, Google, Barnes and Noble, all of these sites are search engines, just like Google is a search engine. And so if you get a lot of reviews that have special keywords in them, like, oh, this was a must read, or this was a great young adult fantasy, or whatever, then when people search for good young adult fantasies, your book is more likely to come up because you have reviews that say that. And so getting reviews is one of the most important things. So if you're listening to this and you're a reader and you love an author, one of the best things you can do is go and review all of their books, because every review matters in terms of getting that book in front of more readers. And yeah, some people don't look at reviews at all. Some people read through the reviews. Some people specifically read the bad reviews. So there's all kinds of things like that. But regardless of reader behavior, it really does help if you have that good algorithm going. And that is one way that it's like, so I know that there will be some readers that will look at it like this, like Natalie, and say, well, loved the book, but this author sucks, or, whatever. It's like, that may not keep some readers from buying the book, but it makes Amazon show the book to less people, because it's like, ooh, people don't like this book, so I'm not going to show it to as many people. So it's kind of hard. So Brooke says, should you write a review on Goodreads and Amazon? If you love an author, leave them a review everywhere you can. Like, even if you didn't buy the book at Google, if you could just copy and paste your review over at Google, it's super helpful. So that is really nice. For sure. Don't forget thumbs up. You're so bossy. No, I love it. I love it. Over 200 people here. So welcome, everybody. She also asked, how do you weed out reviews that are clearly just trashing you for kicks? Some people enjoy reviewing in anger. I've had people review my series back when I actually read my reviews a lot on Goodreads, where they would be like, this book was even worse than the last one. And then they would show up on book 6 and review that one also and be like, I hate these books. Well, like, why are you hate reading them? I don't know. It's none of my business really, but those kind of people, you can tell when they're just trashing you for kicks. If, however, you are reading your reviews for true feedback on your writing ability and you just continually get a lot of reviews that say things like, the story was cute, but there were a lot of typos in this, or it would be so much better if an editor would go through this, then the chances are you've got a problem with your editing. And that can be kind of hard to hear as well. But like if you see time and time again that there's reviews about, I don't like this heroine, or this heroine was annoying, or this book needs a better editor, there's so many typos in this, or this book was confusing, and you see those kinds of things over and over again, then you might want to take a look at your writing and see if you can hire a better editor, or work on making your heroine like more relatable or something like that. But when someone is just downright mean, like, this person can't write worth a crap, or I hate this. Like, I had bad reviews on my Trouble with Goodbye book back in the day because not Harper, sorry, Leanne cusses. She uses the F word. And people were like, a girl from Harvard would never use the F word, and you're cheapening, or you're trashing her up. And I'm thinking, like, everyone who's 20 years old almost uses the F word. So, that's just somebody who doesn't agree with my type of writing, but I'm not going to necessarily take that to heart, because it's like, this is my character and we just don't align on what we like. And so your opinion there is totally valid, but I'm going to write it the way I want to write it. So just, if you can learn to kind of tell the difference between when someone is really like, this is the reason they didn't like the book, and it's something that you could fix, that is where you can take positive, like, from the negative. But if it's just like, this book has too much sex, or this has too much swear words, or this has whatever, you can just ignore those, in my opinion. The only like caveat to that is, like, if you're writing a genre, like you're writing Christian romance and you're throwing F-bombs in there and people are complaining, you probably need to switch genres and how you're marketing it, because there are some genres that just don't like certain types of things, right? You wouldn't want to use, in an inspirational or Christian romance, you wouldn't want to use bad language or like really erotic scenes, right? Yeah, blurb creation is important. What does Harvard have to do with your word choice? Right. I think she was just saying, like, Harvard is for classy rich girls and they would never use bad language, or whatever. And I'm like, she's just a teenager, like, from a small town. She's, just like all teenagers. Megan says, if I'm able to join for the 2023 in-person retreat, can I borrow a piece of your huge chart paper? And this, I love that. That is such a fun comment. Yes, I will bring chart paper for everyone. I love it. Starla says, when you create your Google Doc, do you use page breaks or just write and put in chapters as the breaks? I love the story today. So this was back from the 20th of the month. And thank you. So when I write in Google Docs, I use a page break and then I use a chapter header. Part of that is because when I am going to print things out later, like, I don't always print my books, but usually I print them. And it's not because I hate trees, as George says. It's just because you see things differently on a screen. And so when I'm going to do some of my final edits or my edits before I send it to my beta readers, I like to actually print the book out. And when I do that, I like to edit and read chapter by chapter. And so if I don't have a page break there, when it prints, it'll print like half of a page, and then halfway down the page, it'll be chapter 10. And so I won't be able to separate my chapters into little stacks. And so I use page breaks. So at the end of every chapter, I just like shift return, which then creates a page break automatically. And then I will use heading 1 for the chapter name, and then heading 2 for the character name, which creates an outline on the side of Google Docs. And I've been thinking about doing an updated video, because I did a video on why I write in Google Docs, but I think I would like to do a video on like actually how I write in Google Docs. And I think that would be helpful for some people. But yes, I do. So Sam says, I know you said a mental health video is coming, so I should probably be patient. It's out now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But I was wondering how you deal with anxiety about the world. I'm finding it hard to think about planning my novel and writing when the world feels so bleak. I keep reminding myself compulsively checking the news and feeling powerless and afraid. I keep finding myself and it just saps all my motivation. So first of all, so much love to you, Sam. I think a lot of people are feeling this because not only did we hit the pandemic, but we also hit some like pretty global issues like dealing with racism and just all you guys know all the news things. There's been a lot of polarizing topics where it's like if you're this you're on this side of the fence, and if you're this you're on this side of the fence, and a lot of people drawing lines in the sand, and that can, I think, often make us feel hopeless and afraid. And it can also make us feel isolated or um, worried about the future. And I think we all feel that. And then to be feeling that in addition to having a lot of our resources taken from us in terms of like just going out to a coffee shop or getting to meet up with your friends. Yeah, the war in Ukraine, like there have been so many different topics that have been either polarizing or devastating or depressing. And like a lot of the things that keep coming up also are creating change in our lives, like requiring us to change the way that we think about things, or requiring us to see things from a new lens, or, there are things that are completely out of our control that we think, gosh, I wish it wasn't going that way, but I can't help it. There's nothing I can do to control that situation. And I think that there are a few things to be able to bring yourself back to a place where you're able to be creative and joyful in the midst of that world. So one is stop watching the news. Because you say, like, I find myself compulsively checking the news and feeling powerless. It's a habit that you've gotten into, and I think so many of us can relate to this. But like, I find I can't even scroll my Facebook profile without getting some kind of news that I didn't want to see. And so I have really started like curating my feed on Facebook, on Instagram, and any place that I spend time. So if I'm going to go get on Facebook and somebody posts something, even if it's something that I agree with or something that isn't polarizing for me, if it's something that stressed me out, or it's somebody who constantly is talking about personal, like not personal, but current events, and it's somebody who's always angry or whatever, it's like they may have a good right to be angry, but I just need to control when I see those types of things. And if I want to go looking for the news, I can go looking for it, but I don't have to see it accidentally every time I start scrolling on Facebook or something like that. So I try to hide people. I won't unfriend them, but I'll snooze them for 30 days. If they're just continually posting things, I never ever check the news. George watches the news a lot more than I do. So I figure if something big is happening, he will tell me about it. And there are also times when I tell George, like, I just can't hear about that today. So just don't bring that to me. And he's very respectful of that. I also, if you have noticed, don't really discuss these things online. And so I also don't allow it in my groups, because I specifically want these spaces that we're in to be safe spaces, not just from the topics that are covered, but also just I want it to feel like a place that you can come and not feel stressed, even though I do sometimes challenge you potentially with ideas. But I think that it just is a matter of prioritizing your mental health and saying, here are the places that really harm me, that you can say, I'm going to set a boundary, that it's like, I'm going to take people that cross these lines a lot or disagree with me or anything like that, and I'm just going to cut them out of my feed. And then if I want to go see what's going up with them, I can actually go seek them out when I feel like I'm ready for it. Just because we have to take responsibility for that. And if we allow ourselves to have, like, if we allow everyone in the world to have access to us in terms of news and people's opinions and all these other things, and we just allow people to constantly have access to us, then we are at the whims of whatever they say whenever they say it. And so in order to create a safe space in our own lives, we have to take responsibility for curating those moments, and seeking them out when we feel ready, and then saying, okay, I'm not over here. And yeah, Facebook groups, exactly, Jennifer. Like Facebook is good for groups. That's it. Totally feel that. So if you find, I would even go so far, maybe even as to pull out a page of a notebook and say, okay, for the next week, I'm going to pay attention to when something happens that saps my energy and my motivation because it's upset me, and make a note of it. Okay, it was Instagram today. It was a post on Facebook yesterday. I specifically turned on the news this day. I walked outside and my neighbor accosted me about this other thing, or whatever, and write those things down, and then make a plan for yourself of like, how am I going to not allow those things to have access to my brain, and create those boundaries for yourself. Halstead says, I found your world building in The Witch's Key interesting and easy to digest. Would you ever do a more in-depth world building series on YouTube, like your How to Plot a Novel series? Alternatively, do you have any good resources on world building that you love besides the Brando Sando lectures on YouTube? Yes, I would love to do more world building. So there is a world building workbook. It's part of the How to Write a Series part. So if you find my playlist on how to write a series, there is a workbook there for all of those world building kind of ideas and what types of decisions you might have to make. So definitely check out those videos and that series workbook if you want. But I have so much more that I could say about it. So yes, I would love to talk more about that. And in terms of resources on world building, I have to go think about it. Does anybody in the comments have good resources for world building videos or books? Let me know. I will see if I can find some more. Nothing's coming to me like off the top of my head other than reading other people's books that you've enjoyed and taking things from that, like in terms of what types of things did I like about this and what other decisions do I need to make? I do know that there is an interview out there somewhere with George R. R. Martin talking about world building, because he says that you basically shouldn't completely create your world from scratch, which is why so many, so many fantasy series and stuff are set like as if they were in like medieval times or Victorian times. So they're set with some kind of reality that we're aware of, and then it's just added on top, right? The fantasy part of it is built from that, rather than starting it from scratch. So I'll see if I can find that stuff. And yes, they also did mention that Brandon Sanderson has like lectures on this on YouTube. So that might be a good one. Writing Science Fiction and Fantasy is a great book on Amazon. Thank you, Kylie. One Piece for world building. Okay. Writing Excuses podcast and Writing About Dragons and Shit podcast. That is good. World Anvil YouTube channel. So yeah, the World Anvil, I think, was originally created right for like Dungeons and Dragons, like building out those types of worlds for campaigns. And then now it's become taken on like a life of its own for world building. So yes. And yes, more to come. Pathfinder or Pathfinger or Pathfinder and Other Gamer Things. Wonder Book, The Illustrated Guide to Imaginative Fiction. So lots of ideas here. The Writer's Compass. So more stuff to come. Sam says, do you think we need to worry about AI taking our jobs as writers, so to speak? There's been so much talk about AI now able to write and make art. And I did see there was a response in there, but I deleted it just because I needed to be able to see the questions instead of conversation over in that channel. But, I don't personally believe that AI is ever going to be able to replace artists and writers. However, I think that there will be so many advances coming in the future that readers might not be able to tell the difference as much as we would like them to. And that is already happening in the art world. And I think that in particular, certain genres that rely on specific tropes and specific formulas are going to be easier for AI to take over. I do think that we will see AI taking over social media, and eventually you're going to start to recognize that, like, oh, this person who has 5 million followers is probably using AI to write all their posts. I think we'll see that more, but I think we'll also develop the skills to tell when it's AI and when it's not. I think that there are some programs out there that are getting better at being able to put your AI into a program and have it come back to you with editing suggestions, which could be helpful. But then again, it creates the formulas, but it may take out some of the soul of it. And yes, of course, this is another big one, is a lot of people talk about, like, audiobooks are cost prohibitive for a lot of authors, but you could have your AI reading an audiobook and sell it that way. And it's a lot cheaper. And some readers are just happy to have it read to them, right? But it's erasing the artist, the motion out of it. It's erasing a lot of that. And some people I've seen have AI created audiobooks, and then for a higher price, they're actual narrated audiobooks. I personally don't think I'll use AI on audiobooks ever. But I am working on audiobooks. But AI art is a big one too. So it's kind of like, I don't know where it will go, but there are already so many readers who can't tell that people aren't writing their own books anymore, because there are a lot more writers using ghostwriters than you think. And when someone mentioned to me, like, just why don't you just pay someone to write your last book in your demon series? I was so deeply offended by that. Like, do you think even another human could write the end of my series I've been working on for a decade? You're going to make me cry. Because I don't think anyone else could write that for me, right? It's like, that is mine, and it's just no one else could do that. And so I always feel like true human art is always going to rise above. And I think that people will begin to tell the difference between them. But I think it is a scary time, which is, part of why we need to always be ready to be flexible in terms of how we are presenting ourselves and what our marketing is going to be as writers. Is things like what we have together, this community that we have, is going to be something that transcends what an AI can do. An AI couldn't get on live here and do this and communicate with you guys the same way that I can. And so that's just, it's going to be a part of the world that we have to navigate. But I will say this, I don't think it's going to serve anybody to be so scared of it that it keeps you from doing your job and doing what you love to do, because it can be paralyzing to focus on, what if this happens? When is this going to happen? It's already, like, I felt some of that when Kindle Unlimited started. And even now, when I start to hear readers say, I only read in Kindle Unlimited because all the books are free. And then you see Amazon giving people like a year of Kindle Unlimited for $4, or something like that. It's just like, oh my gosh. It starts to make me feel panicked, because I'm like, is anybody going to be out there to still actually purchase my books and pay for them? Maybe not. Am I going to be able to do? And like, you could literally spiral into a negative pattern of thinking if you allow yourself to. But really, my biggest encouragement to you is to just stop allowing yourself to spiral and instead start thinking about solutions. Okay, well, if AI starts taking over this part of it, how can I make sure that I stay somebody that people are willing to pay for? And I think we just need to stay flexible. And I think we need to focus on solutions instead of potential problems that we don't even know what they're going to be yet. So I think that can be helpful. Steph says, do you prefer writing in first or third person? And how do you decide which one to use? I prefer to write first person. I think my writing comes off so much better when I'm writing in first person. I only have one series that is third person, and that is my Eternal Sorrows series. And if I had a chance to go back and do it again, I probably would write that in first person. But I had so many people telling me, you cannot write multiple POV first person. It doesn't work. People hate it. but it works for my shadow demons, and I wish I had done it because my third person as it is very close point of view anyway. It's basically like first person, just written in third. And I think my writing just lends itself so well to that. In terms of how to decide what to use, I think that it is very genre specific. So there are some genres that like every book you see is going to be first person no matter what. And then there are other genres where every book you see is a third person book. So pay attention first to your genre and what your readers are used to reading, because it will kill your career so fast if every book out there is first person and you write third person. People are going to buy it and they're not even going to know what's wrong with it, but they're just going to be like, I don't like this. It's just going to feel weird to them. But if you happen to write in a genre that can be either or, and they're both equally popular, then I would think and practice what your own personal style is and see how you come off better, and see what works best for you. But I think that it's really good to pay attention to what's already in the market so you know what readers are already accustomed to. But yeah, I totally wish I had not listened to that advice, because I think that you totally can write multiple POVs with first person and people get it and it works. But some people just back in the trad days, they're like, no, you cannot. AS says, will you one day be making a video series on character creation and a video series on character arcs? Yes and yes. I do have plans for doing a whole series on writing great characters, and that will include both of those things. So yes, hopefully in 2023. Steph, again, how much has your process for plotting and outlining changed over the years? You know, it has changed quite a bit, because the more I learn and the more books that I read, the more I start to understand new tricks and tools. And I'm actually thinking about trying something new yet again, because somebody was talking this weekend about writing just a total draft, like a skeleton of a draft, kind of like a zero draft. If you've heard some people here on YouTube talking about that, of like, it's barely a story. You're just barreling to the end. And even if it's terrible. And I thought, well, I've never tried that before. So I could try that, just like getting a terrible book on the page. But I do wonder if it would work for me, because I really like for when I get to the end of that book to feel like it's really good and I just need to polish it up. So I've never tried just writing a terrible first draft and then going back and trying to fix it. And sometimes I find like trying to fix old words that are terrible is harder for me, but I'm always willing to try new things. So my process has changed a lot since the beginning, for sure. Let's see. Do you use Plotter? So Plotter gave me a free version to go in and look, but I have not had time to play around with it. If you go into Plotter, though, I created scene cards, and those are coming. I don't know if they've been released yet, but there are scene cards that are going to be like Sarra Cannon scene cards that I did in my videos. So those will be available in Plotter, but I will be using Plotter coming up. I was waiting to be able to start a brand new book from scratch. So I don't use it, but I have plans to use it. And when I do, I will definitely be doing some reviews on it. Catherine, do you ever feel like scrapping your work in progress? I finished 2 novels, but the first one isn't as good as I want. Maybe I'm being a perfectionist. I feel like scrapping my work in progress every day. Legit every single day of my life. And I tend to always hate what I'm working on. And sometimes I don't love it until the very end, when it's finally come together and I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. This is good. And I never publish it until I feel like it's good, but it takes me multiple drafts to get to that point. And so if you're still in a place where you feel like it's not as good as you want, then it might be a time for you to get some outside feedback, like a critique partner, beta reader, something like that, alpha reader, and let someone else like reading through it kind of help you figure out what might be wrong with it, especially if this is only your first or second book. It's time for outside feedback. But I would not totally throw it away. I do have a couple novels that I probably will never publish, but those were from really early in my career. But I think that if you're expecting it to be perfect and for you to love every piece of it, you're probably just never going to be happy with what you're doing. So, hey, Lisa, hello, hello. I kind of think that it can be helpful to just, instead of scrapping it, have someone else look through it for you. So we do still have 4 questions. And so I'll continue on with those next week, but we caught up on some of them. um, Hi, Paula, re-obsessed with planning and stationery. Yes, yes, yes. I love it so much. I'm going to be doing a 2023 planner lineup, and it's kind of hilarious because I was like, this year I'm going to simplify. I'm going to use less planners. I'm going to simplify my process. And then I started buying stuff, and then I started writing down what I needed a planner for. And I'm still ending up with like 18 planners and notebooks for next year. So I'm just kind of like, maybe I just embrace it and stop trying to simplify and just have fun with it. Embrace my true planner self. What can I say? But yes, disappearance of Vanessa Shaw is going well. Just as a quick update before we go, I have been working on it for NaNoWriMo, and I am through the first act. So I'm total over 20,000 words in the manuscript, and 14,000 something words for the month of November. And so there is good hope that this book will be finished before the end of the year. So I will keep you guys updated. And as always, even though I'm not really vlogging about it because I want to keep things kind of focused on my videos, I am also still working in my notebook about book 12. And I will just kind of, it's Vanessa with 2 S's. And I will be sharing more about this, but after this past weekend at Romance Author Mastermind, I had a really exciting conversation with some people that know a lot about Kickstarter, and I will be doing a Kickstarter campaign as well for Shadow Demon stuff, like extras. That's going to be super, super fun, and it's going to be huge, and I cannot wait. So that is going to be fun. I'm very excited about it. So there's a lot of exciting things coming in 2023, and I'm hoping that one of them is going to be book 12 of the series, in addition to book 4 of the Eternal Sorrows series. So I'm going to keep you guys updated. So if you could count planner and notebook. So I feel like I only have like 1 or 2 planners that I actually use as planners. And a lot of the other planners I use are just like structured notebooks, but I could just use a plain notebook for them as well. So I'm always kind of like, yes, I'm using a Hobonichi, but I'm mostly just using it for journaling. So it could just be a notebook. It's not fully a planner. I'm not planning anything in the future. I'm just documenting. So I count it as one of my 2023 planners, even though it's kind of more of a notebook, if that makes sense. So HB90 enrollment does not open on Sunday. HB90 enrollment opens on November 27th. And we will do, whatever. No, December 11th will be when that class starts. Tomorrow is our Zoom party for the Spooktacular. So I will see all of you there tomorrow. It's this same time as our coffee chats, 4 p.m., 3 p.m. Central. And then on Sunday, if you're in Publish and Thrive, we will have a Publish and Thrive masterclass on social media marketing. So I will see you guys there as well. Yeah, soon be planning 2023. It's going to be amazing. So yeah, that is it. Steph, I saw you had I think 1 more question. We'll get to that next week. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for being patient when I just kind of could not finish up Spooktacular quite as strongly as I had hoped. But we will go back to the Twitch streams. But right now I'm just totally swamped. So it's coming, but more. Yes, Publish and Thrive Masterclass, Jennifer. So I'll send out an email about that probably tomorrow morning, just to remind people that aren't in the Facebook group or have not been paying attention or haven't been around. So I'll send stuff about that. So it's only been posted in the Facebook group so far. So, all right, you guys, thank you for hanging in there. Thank you for the good vibes. Thank you for all the thumbs up and everything else. Thank you for an amazing Spooktacular. I feel like it just went truly well. And yes, thank you to all of our veterans for your service. I forgot to mention that at the very beginning. Today's Veterans Day here in the United States. So anyone here, not only those here who have served, but those here who are families of those who have served or are in service, because you guys are rock stars too for all that you sacrifice and your family sacrifices for us. So thank you to everyone. We love you. We appreciate you. And I will see you guys either tomorrow on the Zoom party or next week's coffee chat. All right. Bye for now.